In configurations, a depletion-type MOSFET can operate in enhancement mode. A. Self-bias. B. Fixed bias with no VGG. C. Voltage divider. D. None of the above. The correct answer is voltage divider. In a universal JFET bias curve, the horizontal axis is A. VDS. B. I DSS. C. The normalized level. D. VGS. The correct answer is the normalized level. In a fixed bias configuration, the voltage level of VGS is equal to A. Vs. B. VG. C. VGSOF. D. VP. The correct answer is VG. The ratio of current ID to IDSS is equal to, for a fixed bias configuration, A. 0. B. 0.25. C. 0.5. D. 1. The correct answer is 1. For Shockley's equation is applied to relate the input and the output quantities. A. JFETs. B. Depletion-type MOSFETs. C. Enhancement-type MOSFETs. D. JFETs and depletion-type MOSFETs. The correct answer is JFETs and depletion-type MOSFETs. The slope of the DC load line in a self-bias configuration is controlled by A. VDD. B. RD. C. RG. D. RS. The correct answer is RS. Specification sheets typically provide for enhancement-type MOSFETs. A. The threshold voltage VGS set. B. A level of drain current I DON. C. An I DON. D. All of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. When plotting the transfer characteristics, choosing VGS 0.5 Vp will result in a drain current level of I DSS. A. 0. B. 0.25. C. 0.5. D. 1. The correct answer is 0.25. The slope of the DC load line in a voltage divider is controlled by A. R1. B. R2. C. RS. D. All of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. In a feedback bias configuration, the slope of the DC load line is controlled by A. RG. B. RD. C. VDG. D. None of the above. The correct answer is RD. For R2 smaller than K, the voltage VD is equal to VDD 16V. A. 3.75. B. 5. C. 12.0. D. 24. The correct answer is 3.75. In a depletion-type MOSFET, the transfer characteristic rises as VGS becomes more positive. A. Less rapidly. B. More rapidly. C. The same. D. None of the above. The correct answer is more rapidly. The DC load line is drawn using the equation obtained by applying Kirchhoff's voltage law KVL at side loops of the circuit. A. The output. B. The input. C. Both the input and output. D. None of the above. The correct answer is the input. In a universal JFET bias curve, the vertical scale labeled M is used to find the solution to the configuration. A. Fixed bias. B. Self-bias. C. Voltage divider. D. None of the above. The correct answer is fixed bias. The coupling capacitors are for the DC analysis and for the AC analysis. A. Open circuit low impedance. B. Short circuit low impedance. C. Open circuit high impedance. D. None of the above. The correct answer is open circuit low impedance. Levels of RS result in quiescent values of ID and negative values of VGS. A. Increased lower less. B. Increased higher less. C. Increased higher more. D. Increased less lower. The correct answer is increased lower less. In an enhancement-type MOSFET, the drain current is 0 for levels of VGS less than the level A VGS, B VGS, C VP, D VDD. The correct answer is VGS. For the field effect transistor, the relationship between the input and the output quantities is A linear, B nonlinear, C third degree, D none of the above. The correct answer is nonlinear. In p-channel FETs, the level of VGS is while the level of VDS is A negative negative, B positive positive, C negative positive, D positive negative. The correct answer is positive negative. The controlled variable on the output side of an FET transistor is a level A current, B voltage, C resistor, D none of the above. The correct answer is current. The level of VDS is typically between and of VDD, A 0100, B 1090, C 2575, D none of the above. The correct answer is 2575. In a universal JFET bias curve, the vertical scale labeled M is used for finding the solution to the configuration A fixed bias, B self-bias, C voltage divider, D none of the above. The correct answer is voltage divider. Must be considered in the total design process: A DC conditions, B level of amplification, C signal strength, D all of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. The input controlling variable for an FET transistor is a level A resistor, B current, C voltage, D all of the above. The correct answer is voltage.